Cheers, guys, and welcome to Uncle Scott's Pancast. In the old Pancast today, we are talking Staub, enameled cast iron. We're going to talk Smithey Ironware. We've got an update from Debouille, quick update there, a little bit of viewer feedback. But at the top here, I want to make a very important announcement. You may have noticed that some of the Pancasts were kind of irregular lately. You got a little more gray hair than normal. What I've decided to do, and what we're doing around here at Uncle Scott's Kitchen, is we have brought on a new person. And she's going to be appearing as a guest star in some upcoming videos. And what I wanted to do was introduce her to you guys and see what you think. So everybody give a warm welcome and be very nice, because she's brand new to my new daughter, Mabel. And she just filled her diaper on camera. Nice. Now she is only 3 days old. How you doing? But amazingly, she can already slide an egg in a carbon steel skillet. So Mom is doing very well, and she's a healthy little girl. Thank the good Lord for that. And it was amazing to me at the hospital over the weekend, and as soon as she came out, it was uncanny how much she resembled my wife. Now, a few of you guys might be wondering, how did an old fart like me just have a new baby? I'm going to give a little bit of life advice here for some of you younger guys who are not married yet. And that is, just because you are an old fart doesn't mean you also have to marry one. How you doing? Now, at my age, I am not sure if my swimmers still swim as much as float on a pool lounger with a drink holder and kind of float across the gene pool, but somehow, some way, they made it. So this is Mabel, named after my grandmother. One of my grandmothers, 7 pounds, 12 ounces, roughly the same weight as a Lodge 12-inch cast iron skillet. Now, all kidding aside, it's going to be nice to have someone else around here who likes to curl up in the fetal position with a bottle and cry. And honestly, sleep is highly overrated anyway. And one great thing about having a brand new baby is she has never heard a dad joke before. This is all new material. For example, take your mother's pan sauces. Please. Now, she's very cute, and everything she does seems to make people smile. It's not really fair, though, I have to say. After all, last time I drank a bottle and passed out and wet myself, no one smiled at all. Now, my wife, throughout the entire pregnancy, has been a trooper and a good sport. After all, I do tend to crack a joke or two. I said that hugging her was like hugging a beanbag with arms, and she actually kind of laughed about that. There is, however, a line that can be crossed, and you never know where that line is until you cross it. I found it the other day at the hospital. After 33 hours of labor, my wife got out of the hospital bed and said, "Look how much my belly has deflated." And I, trying to be helpful, said, "And now you can see exactly how swollen your feet are." No. Now, all kidding aside, I know I make a few jokes around here, but my wife was an absolute trooper. Not only did she carry the baby for 9 months, she was in labor for about 33 hours in tremendous pain, and she is much tougher. And I think in general, men talk a good game, but women are much, much tougher than we are. So shout out to all women, especially the moms out there who give birth to these little people who wouldn't be here without you. Well, let's burp this little girl here. Oh. Oh. Oh, good burp. Nice. So not to be too sappy, but for a moment, I just want to say I am very thankful. Thank the good Lord for the blessings of a great wife and a great little daughter and my little 6-year-old son as well, who is still trying to figure out who this nice person is getting all the attention. And it kind of lets you know that life has a little bit of meaning beyond some of the day-to-day drudgery that we go through from time to time. And perhaps most importantly, she arrived this week and now qualifies me to double up for Father's Day gifts. And speaking of Father's Day, we've talked about the baby. Let's talk about the bouillet. I've been waiting a while to use that one. Oh, this is good stuff. This is the A-list material. It's gold. No? Two big news items from Debouillet. The first is that finally they are back in stock with the Debouillet Mineral B Pros. They've been out forever. Been looking for one of those carbon steels. Those are great ones to get. Also, they're having a big Father's Day sale, 15% off curated items. And what that means is that it's not a site-wide sale. It's just on certain items, but a lot of those Mineral B Pros are on the list. And I will have a link below with an affiliate link. And for the love of Pete, if you buy something, use that affiliate link. I have another college fund to pay for. Oh my goodness gracious. Woo, that's a loud noise. I am so sorry. That's a loud noise. Now let's talk about this Staub enameled cast iron frying pan, 10 1/4 inch. And here is a little unboxing video. So I've only cooked in it twice. I cooked scrambled eggs and then I did a fried egg, the fried egg test. And both were non-stick right off the bat. As always, pan temperature, very important. But I like this Staub so far, and I really do like the personality and the colors you can get with Staub cookware. Let's see, I put up a big review of this guy. This is a Smithey Ironware 12-inch cast iron skillet. Got a lot of feedback on that review. And let's see, Michael E. DeRoe, I may be mispronouncing that, asked, do I think the Smithey not holding a seasoning as well as other cast irons is more about the smooth surface, is more about the smooth versus rough texture debate? Hey, shh. Uh-oh. We better be careful of those mom jokes. Let's go find mom, and we'll be back. All right, if you think the jokes are bad, you ought to see what my wife is changing in that diaper. Good Lord. We talked about the cooking surface on this guy. It's very smooth, it's polished, and it almost cooks and acts a little bit more like carbon steel than cast iron. And I do believe that the reason the seasoning doesn't last quite as long, at least starting out, is because it is smoother. I've always noticed that when I have new carbon steel, a lot of times those initial seasonings don't seem to hold as well as ones down the road. I don't know if it's a time or a temperature thing. I also wonder if it has to do with scratches. I know when carbon steel is new, it's very smooth and shiny. The more you use it, especially if you use metal utensils or ever use steel wool, for example, in it, You're going to get a lot of the little micro scratches in there, and lots of people think that those little scratches give seasoning something to grip to. So maybe if I use metal utensils more in this pan, it gets a little bit scratched up. Maybe the seasoning will last a little bit longer. Let's see, High and Rising wrote in about the Smithey and says, you buy what you like. You can go to Bloomingdale's or Neiman Marcus and spend $300 on a tie or $1,500 for a jacket. Are they better than the Smithey? That said, you could cook all that stuff that I cooked in the video in a $40 lodge, just the same. So I think this is a debate on Smithey and some of these artisanal kind of high-end niche cookware products, small batch, if you will. A lot of times the performance versus price curve, it's not linear. The performance kind of levels off at a certain level, and it's true. Pretty much everything I cooked in the Smithey, if not everything, I could do the same thing in a $40 lodge. But you get to a certain point in life where maybe I've already got 8, 10 lodges, and I want to try something new, and you kind of want nicer stuff in your nice kitchen, and it becomes more of what Smithey says on their website, a functional work of art. So it's not just about performance, but it is more of a luxury item, I have to say. Let's see, Trapper in DC 8678 says he's been buying Smithey since they first came on the market and owns 15 pieces. And I think if somebody buys 15 pieces of your cookware, that is a pretty good endorsement of Smithey right there. Let's see, Colt 10 millimeter Security 68 wrote in about frying oil. And this is always a point of contention around here. I fry a lot of times in peanut oil. I use canola sometimes. I use veggie. Sometimes I use beef tallow. When I made the cornbread in the review for the Smithey, I used a ton of Crisco, and people were writing in and essentially saying that oil is poison. I don't think it's actually poison. Everything is relative. It depends on how much you eat, how often you eat it, etc., etc. And this is going to point out that my grandfather, one of them, lived to be 86, and he used to take a big tablespoon pat of butter and put butter on his sausage and his biscuits. See, Edro3838 wrote in about seasoning. He said it took a long time for his seasoning to come in and stop lifting. He's talking about a carbon steel pan here, and he says he did the salt, oil, and potato peels method of seasoning, and it got better. I just want to point out here that oil, potato peels, and salt method, that came from Matford carbon steel pans, and that was only for the initial seasoning of Matford carbon steel pans. Once you got one of those Matford seasoned or any other brand seasoned, you don't have to do that oil, potato peels, and salt method down the road. You can just do regular maintenance touch-up seasonings. You can do oven, you can do stovetop, but oil, potato peels, and salt, that's a one and done there if you have one of those older Matfords with that coating that was very difficult to remove. Let's see, Knife Sharpening Norway wrote in and asked if I have tested the Swedish pans from, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing this, Kockums Jernverk. I have not, in fact, tested those pans, but I may have to get one just so I can say the word Jernverk over and over in a video. And will probably help my pronunciation if my mouth were full of meatballs and lingonberries. Let's see, Peter K. Kluss wrote in and was talking about veggies. In a lot of the reviews, sometimes we have a little bit of fun with vegan foods and some of the vegan products on the market, some of the Beyond Meats and what have you. And is just talking about veggies versus these kind of veggies that have turned into imitation meat products. I love veggies, and I would much rather just eat vegetables. Probably 3 or 4 days a week. I'm just a de facto vegetarian or vegan, however you want to say it. I just don't eat meat every day, but sometimes I like meat. I eat a lot of meat on weekends. I smoke stuff on the deck. I grill steaks, burgers, etc., etc. But I have no problem just eating veggies. They're much more delicious. I kind of get it, like if you were going to a barbecue and people were throwing something on the grill and you want to put something on there, if you're vegan and get one of those patties, that makes sense to me. But on a day-to-day basis, the flavor of those processed meat substitute patties, I just don't enjoy them. I would much rather just eat veggies directly. Okay, I have got a diaper to change. Actually, maybe two. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time on Uncle Scott's Pancast.